The 18th day of December. The Prince, Miranda, and Chloe were still under the spell of Finika's sleeping powder. They had been sleeping for almost 24 hours. As the sun rose over the kingdom once again, and the rooster crowed, Miranda and the Prince began to stir. "What happened?" Miranda asked. She stretched her arms above her head. I don't remember," the Prince replied sleepily. "One minute we were talking about nieces and trolls, and the next thing I was falling asleep." "Now I remember," Miranda said. "That troll, Finika, ambushed us with her sleeping powder." She ran to her uncle and began to shake him. "Wake up, Uncle Chloe," she shouted, but Chloe didn't budge. "He must have gotten a double dose," the Prince says. "We have to find Finika," Miranda said. "She's probably on her way to the Nice Palace." "We can take the royal helicopter," the Prince offered. "Maybe, but we'll have to be careful and watch out for Finika's tricks." She turned to her uncle. "I wish Uncle Chloe would wake up. He could make up some magic potions in case we run into trouble with the trolls." Then she had a thought. "I'll look in Uncle Chloe's book of charms. Come on." And before the Prince could answer, Miranda was out the door. The nieces were sitting around the table at the Nice Palace. They were listening to Pendulum's tale of his adventures at the royal palace. The magic compass was sitting in the middle of the table. "Can I touch it?" Clipper asked. "You can play with it after I finish tinkering with it," Pendulum said. He reached across the table, picked up the compass, and opened the cover. "Do you think you can stop the magic?" Clipper asked. "If it has springs and gears, I can fix it or unfix it," Pendulum answered. "It's a beautiful compass." He got up from the table to get a better look in the light, turning the shiny brass instrument over in his hands. He opened the back cover. This should be simple, just a few springs to be loosened. Pendulum began to unwind a spring. Suddenly, a great puff of smoke filled the room. When the smoke cleared, Balto, Tandra, and Clipper looked at Pendulum. He had turned to stone, still holding the magic compass in his hand. "What happened?" Clipper asked. "The magic compass must have a spell on it. When Pendulum tried to tinker with it, it turned him to stone," Balto said. Clipper stepped closer to Pendulum for a better look. "Be careful, Clipper," Tandra cautioned. "Don't touch Pendulum, or you could turn to stone too." "Is there anything we can do?" Clipper asked. "Perhaps the Nice Handbook has the answer," Balto said, crossing the room to the cupboard. As Balto and Tandra consulted the Nice Handbook, Clipper sat and stared at his uncle. He wondered what it felt like to be made of stone. Across the kingdom at the royal palace, the Prince and Miranda had entered Chloe's laboratory. "I didn't know Chloe had a secret laboratory," the Prince said. "That's because it was a secret," Miranda replied with a smile. She was standing beside the Book of Charms. "We'd better find a spell that will protect us against the troll's sleeping powder and other tricks." She flipped through the pages until she found the one and read, "How to protect yourself from magic powers." "What does it say?" the Prince said, peeking over Miranda's shoulder. "It's very complicated. I hope I can remember everything Uncle Chloe taught me." Miranda said, stepping away from the book and closing her eyes. "Blade of fennel, hair of cat, ring of onion, ring of bat, juice of stone, a tail of a rat, a little this, a little that. No, 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 it won't do. I'm no wizard, just a fool. But of course. Juice of stone, wing of bat, blade of fennel, tail of rat, ring of onion, and hair of cat, a little this, a little that. No, 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 it won't do. I'm no wizard, just a fool. But of course. Mix it once in this hat, quill of feather, ounce of fat. Wipe my feet on the mat, a little this, a little that. No, 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 it won't do. I'm no wizard, just a fool. But of course. Wipe my feet, ounce of fat, mix it once on the mat, quill of feather, on this hat, a little this, a little that. Yes, 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 that will do. I'm a wizard, not a fool." The Prince looked puzzled. "How do we even know it's going to work?" "We test it," Miranda said. She searched along closed jars and found one marked itching powder. "Come here," she said, beckoning to the Prince. "Are you going to test that spell on me, aren't you?" "Of course," Miranda answered, sprinkling the Prince with powder from the jar. "Do you feel itchy?" "No," the Prince answered, sneezing. "Then it worked," Miranda said. "We're safe from Finika's magic powders." She replaced the jar on the shelf. "Now we can go to the Nice Palace." But the Prince was busy reading the Book of Charms. "Miranda, look! There's a spell that might send us to the Nice Palace." The Prince began to read a passage from the Book of Charms. "This spell can be used to transport a wizard from one area of the kingdom to another in the blink of an eye." "But we're not wizards," Miranda said. "This is no time to get picky," the Prince replied as he stepped away from the book. He closed his eyes and began to mumble. "Maybe we should take a helicopter after all," Miranda said. "It's too late," the Prince replied, opening his eyes. "I just recited the spell." Miranda smiled. "Well, obviously it didn't work. We're still here. It says the spell will work in a blink of an eye. So I guess all I have to do is blink. Wait, don't blink yet. Just in case the spell works, I'd better leave a note for Uncle Chloe." She quickly scribbled a note and placed it on top of Chloe's Book of Charms. "Ready?" As ready as I'll ever be, but it won't work, Miranda said, closing her eyes just in case. Give me your hand, the prince said. Miranda took the prince's hand. He smiled and then blinked. Across the kingdom, at Troll Castle, Archibald was worried. Finika still hadn't returned. Maybe I can find her if I look into the vat of boiling milk, he thought. He leaned over the vat and stared into the bubble. Where is Finika? Slowly the image of his sister appeared in one of the bubbles. Oh dear, Archibald said. She's on her way to the Nice Palace. I have to warn the nieces. Archibald thought and thought. Finally, he decided to go to the forest and lie down under his Christmas tree until an idea came to him. Will Archibald find a way to warn the nieces in time? And will the Princess Belle send him and Miranda to the Nice Palace? Until tomorrow, good night.